Hello, Victory Village, and welcome back to the channel. This is your host, Twanna Y'vette, and for the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about Tim Norman. This update comes from 4/28/22, and this is on the docket number 205. As I mentioned before, docket number 206 won't be ready to view for a few more weeks. So we're going to have to wait for that. This is the United States of America plaintiff versus James Timothy Norman defendant. Case number 4-20CR00418-JAR, just in case you have a Pacer account and you want to look this up. The defendant's request for extension of time to file objections to report and recommendation of United States Magistrate Judge. So comes now defendant James Timothy Norman by and through a legal counsel of record, Ethan B. and Joseph M., and hereby request an extension of time within which to file appropriate objections to the report and recommendation of United States Magistrate Judge filed in the above cause on April 15th, 2022. So here again, Tim is asking for more time. And I'm going to scroll down. There are 8 pages of this. And when I tell you the judges and the parties are going through every nook and cranny, they are not, they're not holding anything back. Like, this is crazy. So getting down to the last paragraph, wherefore current legal counsel for defendant respectfully requests that this court grant an extension of time within which to file objections to the report and recommendation submitted by the United States District Court Magistrate Judge in the above case. Legal counsel on behalf of defendant requests that the court allow such extension of time for good cause and that the court grant at a minimum an additional 20 days from April the 29th, 2022 for objections to be filed on behalf of defendant. Legal counsel further requests that the court grant any other relief deemed just and proper. And this is respectfully submitted by Ethan B. Corlegia, attorney at law. Okay, this is crazy. I can't imagine what's going on. Why does he want an extension of time? Why his attorneys are asking for an extension of time? The last thing that we talked about was Tim Norman wanting an extension, or not wanting an extension, but what he wanted. And let me go back to that particular file. What Tim wanted was for the people to not put his phone records in for submission. He didn't want anybody to know about it, okay? There are 2 sealed documents on 4/25/22 that I can't see. That is document 204 and document 203. They are sealed, and I'm almost certain it has something to do with Tim Norman wanting to file all of these things about what's in his phone. He claimed that the police officer that took the phone didn't have permission, that he said, no, you can't take my phone. And in docket 202, we know that that was a lie. There were 5 pages with number 6 being the signature of Nanette Baker. And Nanette concluded that it is hereby recommended that the defendant, James Timothy Norman's motion to suppress evidence on document 183 should be denied. Now let's go back to docket 183 and see exactly what the judge was talking about. 183 was the motion to suppress, and this was given on May 4th, the 12th at 2:22. And so here we have 7 pages, and this is Tim's motion. Now comes defendant James Timothy Norman by through counsel Joseph M. Hogan, which was the attorney at that particular time. As you notice, the attorney has changed. But Joseph M. Hogan, and pursuant to federal rules crime prohibit 12b3c, moves this honorable court to suppress all evidence seized in connection with the execution of an arrest warrant and failure to obtain a search warrant in violation of Norman's Fourth Amendment rights under the United States Constitution. In support of his motion to suppress, defendant states as follows: on or about August the 11th, 2020, a criminal complaint was filed in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Missouri against the defendants James Norman. And what happened was he got arrested. He had his cell phone in his pocket. They took the cell phone. They asked him, was it okay if we take the phone? He said yes. They put him in the car, took him to jail. He was, processed and all of the things, and his phone, of course, was not given to him in his jail cell. I don't know if he thought that was going to happen or not, but no, Tim, you don't get to keep your cell phone. So they took it, and they found that there was evidence in the phone because he had been communicating with the people that were also arrested. And I guess, whatever the conversation was, those are the documents that are sealed. So that is not going to be for public consumption until the trial, right? On or about August 18th, 2020, agents arrived at the home of James Norman, located on 213 Rampart Street in Ridgeland, Mississippi, to execute an arrest warrant upon Mr. Norman, right? So the agents knocked on Norman's door, and upon answering, he was requested to step outside the residence and place his hands behind his back. Okay, so Norman complied with all of the requests of the agents, and this is on paper. If you're in the group, you've already seen this, right? So Norman indicated to agents that he wanted to step back to obtain his cellular device. Norman's request was denied, and after securing Norman and after already executing the arrest warrant, agents entered Norman's home without a warrant or consent and seized a cellular phone by Norman. Now, upon the police report, Norman had his cell phone on him. And it was when they patted him down, the cell phone was in his pocket. So when the judge said that she wanted this to be denied, it was because there's a discrepancy in what the police are saying and what Tim Norman and his attorneys are saying. So I hope that's understandable. I hope I made that to where you can understand it. Norman's attorneys are saying that the agent failed to obtain a search warrant to seize evidence as any information to formulate probable cause in the case would have been years old, but that's not true according to the FBI. So if I go back to the most recent filing, which is 205, motion for extension, I can only guess that this motion to extend is because they want to, look at all the nooks and crannies and see where they can actually get this information, the conversations and the text messages that are in Tim Norman's cell phone, to not be a part of the evidence. And so, they're checking everything that they possibly can. And I don't think they're going to succeed because, like I said, the cell phone was in Tim's pocket. It was on his person, according to the police. Okay. Legal counsel for defendant Joseph M. Hogan spoke with the assistant United States attorney Angie Dennis with regard to the instant request for additional time by telephone on April 25th, you guys, and that was this year, of course. So the government does not object to the defendant's request for more time for legal counsel. However, Judge Nanette has, said, listen, I don't care what you guys find. I don't care, what happens. I want this denied. That was her recommendation because it's already, it's in the court's hands. It's in the court's hands. And let me go back to document 202. They already have the evidence of what's in the phone. They have the conversations. And the conversations are said to be between Tim and the others that were arrested. They were talking about on August 18th, Agent Faber and 10 other law enforcement officers, how they arrived at the home. They did confiscate some conversations in the jail, which Tim cannot deny, because everybody knows that when you talk on the phone, excuse me, not cell phone, but the jail phone, that all of those conversations are recorded. So what they're looking at are those records, as well as Mr. Norman signed a property receipt for the iPhone and iPhone case, which has been entered as Exhibit 4. So the phone has been, put in as Exhibit 4, but he wants the contents of the phone to not be deemed relevant. And unfortunately, they've already looked in the phone, they've already gotten the records, they have already done all of the things, and it looks like, because of what the judge has stated, Tim's going to have to just deal with it. There was a statement also by Detective David Rudolph, and we talked about that before, where Dave Rudolph was asked to testify. Detective Rudolph has been with the SLMPD for 17 years. He began investigating the homicide of Andre Montgomery in September of 2019. He requested the assistance of the U.S. Attorney's Office when he determined there was a financial aspect to the investigation. So Rudolph traveled to Mississippi for Mr. Norman's arrest. Detective Rudolph was present, okay, when Mr. Norman was arrested, but he did not take part in the arrest, but he was there to see that it actually happened. So after the arrest, Agent Faber said that he seized the phone from Mr. Norman. The first time he touched Mr. Norman's phone was on September the 3rd, 2020, when Agent Faber brought it to him packaged in the FBI envelope after the search warrant had been obtained, okay? So there you have the discrepancy. Detective Rudolph then packaged the phone in an SLMPD envelope and delivered it to the Cyber Crimes Division. So this, once again, I understand that they want all of the things. they want all of the things to be, not submitted into evidence and all of this kind of stuff. But you guys can see the discrepancy. I've given you what the police said. I've given you what Tim said. I've given you what the judge has said. And it looks like, if they go with Judge Nanette Baker's decision, and again, she says that it is hereby recommended. It's her recommendation that the defendant, James Timothy Norman's motion to suppress evidence, document 183, should be denied. The parties are advised that they have 14 days in which to file written objections. So the reason number 205 was filed because they wanted to be within those days in order to file a motion for extension. That's the only thing they could do. They had already filed what they wanted on the witness list and what they wanted taken off the witness list. Now, when you file something like that, it does not mean that the judge is going to grant you that just because you don't want something on the exhibit list, or you don't want a person on the witness list or whatever. You're a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? So you're a prisoner. Let's look at the exhibit list, which was document 199. I'm going to go back to document 199 and tell you guys what is on this list. And this has been submitted to the judge. And if everything goes through, this is going to be what you hear in the trial. This is evidence, okay? An arrest warrant for James Norman, the photograph of 213 Ramport, a black and gold iPhone seized from defendant, St. Louis Police Department evidence envelope containing the phone, the FBI envelope, which S.A. Faber writing containing Norman's phone, the FBI property receipt for Norman's phone, a disc containing the full jail calls from which Exhibit 7 and 8 were extracted, the clip from call on 8/24/20 from Norman to UM, transcript of number 7, the affidavit of Madison County Jail custodian, which that just blows my mind. If you go back a couple of videos, that an affidavit of Madison County Jail custodian, are like, okay. A clip from a call on 8/24/20 from Norman to UF, a transcript of Exhibit 8, and a search warrant for Norman's iPhone. This was all on one page, okay? And so this was document 199. This is the exhibit list. So this is everything that was submitted already. Now, the witness list, which is document 198, we don't have permission to view that document, and we won't have permission to view that document until the trial starts, okay? And then I think on document 200, there was not a lot. It was just one page. The matter is presently pending before. Okay, so this was just things that were pending, and then it was accepted. And so now we are at the point where Tim does not want his conversations to be submitted, okay? And again, I don't have document 206 for you guys because it is sealed and we can't get into it yet. Document 203 and 204 is sealed. We cannot get into that, and it doesn't give me a date as to when we'll be able to look at those documents, but I am almost 100% certain that we won't be able to get any of that stuff until the trial has begun. And so it doesn't have a date. Now, there are some documentations that do have a date, of when it's going to be open, and some of them have already been open. We've been through document 180 all the way up to 205, and of course, like I said, the document text order for 206 is not open. Now, that is old news. It's old stuff, but there is some evidence that's in there that the FBI doesn't want the public to see until the trial begins. So I'm in my pacer right now, so I can give you guys the best information possible. I don't want to leave anything unturned, and I don't want to give you guys misinformation. So for right now, this is what we've got. And like I said, some of the files, like file 177, 192, those files have been sealed, and there's probably less than 10 files. I would say 10 to 15 files in this case that are sealed, and a lot of those, especially at the beginning, have to do with Andre. Now, those files could be sealed because the family does not want that to be public knowledge just yet, okay? Like the initial appearance on rule number 5 is sealed. We have 3 orders that are sealed and won't be open. We have a docket text order, which are the text messages that they wanted from the phone when they confiscated the phone from Tim. A docket text order including schedules that is sealed, and some other things. The arraignment is sealed. The state conference that they had, the status conference, of course, is sealed, and that's with everything. We won't know what happened in that conference. That is where, if you don't know, that is where the judge and all of the attorneys and everybody get together and they start to deliberate and they start to talk about the case, and the attorneys will go back to the prisoners and talk about what happened in that conference and ask them what they want to do and all of that. Now, that happened on 12/02/2020. So that was 2 years ago. Now we're in 2022, and we have about 15 motions that have been filed due, and the newest evidentiary hearing and the newest scheduling conference, which was document 194. And a lot of these things are motions to extend and motions for more time, and motions because Tim didn't want to be on camera, and motions because there was a C-19 outbreak, and it's just a bit much. And this stuff actually started happening 12/07/2021. This stuff is just crazy, and it's always Tim wanting to, propose this stuff. It's always Tim not wanting to, come forward, or there's always a problem. There's always an issue. And so, with that being said, I think that, and this is just my opinion, this is not on any of the dockets or whatever, but it's looking like there are not a whole lot of more motions that Tim can actually can give at this point. As I'm looking at some of the old dockets, I don't see anything else that Tim, can do, because they didn't get a search warrant to search his apartment. They weren't interested in anything that was in the apartment. They weren't interested in anything that was at the restaurant. They were only interested in Tim's confession, which he didn't give. So now it's Tim's, testimony come time for that. They're interested in the conversations that were on the cell phone, the conversations that were in the jail, and they're interested in hearing from the witnesses, and they're interested in hearing from, his partners in crime. So had there been confessions all the way around, there wouldn't be a need for a trial. But because Tim is, really playing acrobatics with this case, it's making him look more and more guilty, in my opinion. I've never seen anybody do this in any of the cases that I have ever looked at and reviewed. I've never seen anybody file these many extensions, and it makes me wonder. I'm like, are you doing this because you want your new team of attorneys to, really look at all of the things, all of the evidence, or are you trying to get them to find loopholes and, get you less time, or to get you free? Because at first, we were thinking Tim wants to be free. Tim was saying that he was framed and he didn't do anything and he wanted to be free. So I'm wondering if Tim still has that mindset, if he still wants to be free. Now, you've been incarcerated in jail for 2 years. So, at this particular point in time, Judge Nanette Baker is ready to go to court. And here you are asking for more time. So I can't see for the life of me this continuing to go on, and wait, because Tim is coercing his attorneys to, ask for more time, because he's pitching a fit about his cell phone. I just don't see it lingering on. I do know that all of the witnesses on the list, listen, it is a done deal. Because that list is sealed, it is a done deal. Everything that they have submitted for evidence is a done deal, unless they find more evidence to add to that. And I just don't understand what Tim is doing at this point in time. It really, is strange. It really is weird. Now, there was a docket that was filed, and I think this was docket 196, and I'm not sure if we went over this or not, but this is the last thing that I wanted to look at: the law regarding impeachment on one's own witness. Now, this guy was supposed to be a witness, and I want to say, okay, this is on March 1st, 2022. Detective David Rudolph was served with a subpoena from counsel for defendant Norman. Detective Rudolph did not witness the seize of Norman's cellular device. So I was kind of wondering why he had been subpoenaed to be a witness. And upon reading this docket, it was really strange. He had been, and when I say he, I mean Rudolph. He was named in a lawsuit, right? That alleged various rights violations on behalf of a robbery. And upon my further investigation, I found that he was named, but he was never prosecuted. And because this was actually put in this docket, lets me know that they were trying to set him up. And because of that, this didn't go anywhere. He's not going to, stand trial because he already confessed that he didn't have his hands on the phone. There was, he doesn't know what was in the phone. He didn't see the phone. He didn't know the phone, even existed until all of the police officers got to processing, Tim, when they arrived and they said, we've got him and he's coming in to be processed. And the only thing Tim had on him was that phone. So the law regarding impeachment of one's own witness as a definite no-no. They went through the background regarding Detective Rudolph. They went through the argument. Admittedly, counsel of the government cannot be certain that this is the intended line of questioning for Detective Rudolph, but they suspect that they want to impeach this guy. But even if you put him on the stand for impeachment, at worst, he'll lose his career, he'll lose his job, but he didn't have anything to do with that cell phone. So it was kind of weird that they actually wanted him to take the stand. I was thinking that Tim wanted him to take the stand, or his attorneys wanted Rudolph to take the stand to help him. But they're trying to eliminate police officers from coming forward. But, he said, hey, I don't have anything to do with this. And as I look at both of the documents, and this is 196, and there was like three, one is sealed. I don't see anything saying that this guy would be guilty of, anything. And he's already said he didn't have his hands on the phone. And he has backup from the police and the FBI witnesses that are like, yeah, he did not. So that document, which was the main document 196, there was an exhibit of 1 and exhibit of 2, and both of these are stating that he didn't have anything to do with that cell phone. He didn't see it and he didn't touch it. So for him to take the stand would be obsolete. So I'm hoping that Judge Nanette Baker, after this motion of extension for his attorneys, I'm hoping that she goes ahead and sets the date for the trial, because it looks like Tim is up to his old shenanigans again, and it's just ridiculous. So I'm hoping that this gives you guys some insight on what's going on and what's taking the trial so long to happen. If you guys have any questions, hopefully I can answer them by going through the documents on Pacer. Just leave them in the comments below. If you have any comments or concerns, leave them in the comments below. You guys know I love to chat with you guys about these cases. I don't know what it is about me and these law cases, but I just feel like they're so interesting. And I did promise you guys that I was going to keep you informed on the Tim Norman case, even though my content has changed. Okay, we're still gonna be on this Tim Norman case, because I definitely don't want to miss any of this hearing. I definitely don't want to miss any of this when it goes to trial. I'm gonna do my best to have every T crossed and every I dotted for you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Remember to always live on purpose and be careful out there. Wear that mask and use your hand sanitizer. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye for now.